Hello everybody, my name is Farmer Phil, and in today's video we are doing something we have never actually done before. It's not something that's not uncommon, but it's just something we've never done before. We are putting slurry out onto our tillage ground, our winter wheat beside the house. So I'm just trying to get myself back ground and get some of the pipe laid off. We've pig slurry being drew into us, so it's a mix of pig and cattle we're putting out. But we'll get more into that later on. But before we get too much further into the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you get notified of my videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. Nothing like driving backwards when the windows are kind of dirty and frosted and that. Very frosty morning this morning, and we kind of still have to wait for the frost to leave the field before we can get spreading. But we're going to get the pipe laid out as far as the field, and we're going to just try and get ready now. And there's with too much weight on the front wheel. Our tractor doesn't like to turn the wheels that well when there's weight on it. So yeah, we don't have too far to go. So that's the tank just there behind me, reception pit, and there's the fields out there. So it is quite a short distance. We have to set up our auto steer as well, get connected up to the base station. If the base station set up by the crush, we'll get some piping off and we'll see how this is going to go. This is going to be interesting now. Ground hopefully is going to be dry enough, and yeah, it's just going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Anyways, we get this pipe down and I get my other cameras because I'm currently using the Hero 8s. It's all I had on me. So we are out on the field now, getting the pipe down. Don't seem to be doing any damage to the ground, which is good, but it does get wetter down that corner, so I have to see how that goes. But there is a lovely crop of winter wheat out here. But as you can probably tell, it is starting to go to a little bit of a yellowness in it. So it really wants to get a bit of a kick up the hole with a bit of fertiliser. And that fertiliser is going to be going out in the form of slurry. But with the way fertiliser prices have gone and everything's kind of going, we need to try and do things for less. So we're going to see how the slurry goes. And hopefully it reduces, well it should. It will mean we'll be putting out less artificial fertiliser on the crop. So in theory we should, and this is in theory, we should save money and we should still have a decent crop. We get the last of this pipe down and we get spread.
Alright, that's running. His lordship gave me the camera. He says, you do a bit of filming. Well, there's not a lot to see on my end. That's my day, and that's a day, a good day. Everything goes well. Just have to wait for him to tell me he has got it and he has enough of pressure, and then we're good. Any sign of it?
Okay, I'm sorry there. Have luck.
My job done for the next 20 minutes.
So we are now spreading. So I would have liked to start by the hedge, but I'm going to have to work into that wet spot just to see. So we're hoping to put out around the 3,500 gallons to the acre. So driving there at 1B, doing 3.5 kilometers an hour. So yeah, so we'll spread it down into that corner and then we'll go start spreading it back up the field. But as you heard Father Phil say, we're going to get the reception pit half empty and then we're going to start taking in pig. Because something you may have already seen when we were scrapping out sheds and that, our cattle slurry is like glue, and I mean desperate tack all together. And what we have in the reception pit, we're putting some water so it's nice, but to let more stuff out of the store we need to get some raw pig in to mix it to get that little pump. So that's where we are with the slurry. So yeah, this is going to be one of them videos. We'll show you what we're doing. The 6290, the one we fixed up, is in the yard. It's doing the agitating today. I'll leave a camera with Father Phil to show how he uses the applied Very Mount 350 compressor, so you can see how it blows out too. So anyways, I think everything's going pretty well there. Father Phil's actually walking out there now to look, and you can also see the poor old veneery sitting in the corner. So just on that, people keep asking, have we a load and shovel sorted? Yes, we actually do have a shovel sorted, and you will see it very, very shortly. We'll keep threading away here and we'll see how this works out. So just show you how wet it was when the sprayer was out here last with the twin wheels on. That's the only bit of tracking he left was there, but I just went across that without leaving a mark. So ground is much drier than when it was sprayed, so that's a bit of a relief. So we should be able to travel all this without any issues. If I can travel that bit there, I can travel it all. So happy days. And now this is the first bit of pig slurry coming into the pipe there now. We are spreading away there. Happy days. So it won't, with how long it took me to do that, it's not going to take me too long to do the rest of the field. So yeah, but we will be dividing the field in two. So I'll be turning just kind of where the hedge comes out across to the brow, and then I'll be do all this half and then do the other half, and then make it out to the field behind me and then to the top field. So yeah, it's just a matter of time now. Sit back and enjoy. That's the first segment of the first field done, so it's time to get some piping off. So I will be spreading this in two halves, but I think if I lay my pipe into the top corner there to make sure I have enough, and then pull it back all the way, do there, spread that bit, and then pull it back up and do that bit, I think is my best option. That only leaves me with two long hard pulls, but it just means that I know I have enough piping going that way that I have to drag it back. That's why I need to do it that way. Slurry is coming out nice and evenly on the crop, and it's looking good. It's looking good. Getting a nice, one of the big things with the slurry is trying to make sure that it's not overlapped and I'm not missing any of it, and I'm not, yeah, so it's really making sure that it's the right amounts coming out and there's no lapping, overlapping, none of that going on. So the auto steer is a great job for that. But anyways, I better put down the camera. I can't really put it on the ground because the ground is full of slurry. So yeah, we'll get this sorted anyways. It's a good thing I still remember things, because on the last job we done on this side, it was rolled up long pipe then short pipe, so I have a short pipe under that. The short pipe isn't enough to get me to the far corner, and putting the short hand along off is too much piping. So I have the blue 200 on the front, so we'll spin around and we'll lay that one off. But yeah, good thing I caught that in time, or I'd have a bit of a mess on my hands. Anyways, we keep at it. So now that's the pipe out to the top corner, and it's just long enough, just, maybe I should have put down the short pipe, but I would have had a lot of pipe. So yeah, don't want too much pipe is too much dragging, don't want to do too much damage to I have to drive across. So I'm just going to drag it back down to where I left off so you get started. And you're probably wondering, oh, you can't pull pipe on this. Nothing in it. You can, once it's in nice straight lines. So as in, that's the pipe I laid, I'm just pulling it back along itself, it won't twist. So with Buzz Father Phil, I'm ready to go here, line me up.
Okay.
And now we are ready to go. So happy days. Now we just wait for him to start us up. So just doing the top headland now. There's quite a bit of grass out the top headland, a little bit annoying, but I think that's down to how it was, well, we didn't plough in that tight to the top headland, and we didn't plough any roundup, so I suppose we can't expect much more. But anyways, just while we're up this far, it is an absolutely lovely spring day. It's one of the real first spring days. This is the 1st of March too, so it really is, it's a lovely day. I can see the cattle, so you can see, just about see one batch of cattle through the dirty window on the bottoms, grazing away there, happy out. Another batch of cattle then in the big field, so it's the furthest green field you can see. I don't see them. I seen them earlier on, and I'm hoping that haven't gone walkabout because I can't see them and I should. But there's a great view from up here on top of the hill or the quarry field. So yeah, we keep working away here. Just this section here to do now, but what a fantastic fantastic day. First day of spring. Now, that is that field fully done. So we just pull into the next one through this lovely big gap here. We like to have all the gaps wide enough that the combine header doesn't have to come off. Also, the neighbour is putting out lime, and I think we're getting our fair share of it too, but sure, can't complain. It's amazing just how dusty the lime is and how far it travels, and it isn't windy. It is not windy by any means of the word. Anyways, yeah, so I'm just going to pull in what I can here and then lay a pipe down to the bottom of the field. It should actually be a good job doing it this way, because as you can see I have 3 poles in the way and it's very hard to work my way around them, so I can go between them 2 poles and I should be able to get a right good job done. We'll get this sorted and we get working away. So now that is the pipe down to do the next field, just ready to go. Just after having the dinner too, and what a day it is. Kinda half debating about putting back on the overalls after dinner, but kinda need them, because if I didn't have them on, I'd definitely get covered in so anywho, a lot of the things we were just saying while we're having the dinner. Today is the first day of March. You can say it really is one of the first days of spring. But Radio Father Phil, right, I'm ready to go here. You light me up on things we're saying at the table. The first day of March, first days of spring, and we're just rhyming off some of the old people's sayings from back in the day. One of the ones I remember was it's to do with the weather. What the previous generation said about how the weather was, and the one for March is march in like a lamb, out like a lion, and that basically means if March is a good start, it'll have a bad back end, and this is a good start. I think the weather for the rest of the week is good, so kind of be telling me that it could be a bad back end to March already. And one of the other ones that's gone by was for February. A fair February curses every other month of the year, I think that was the saying. It was basically, if February was a good month, it cursed every other month of the year, so the rest of the year would be a wet year. We had a fairly mixed February, so it's a good sign. There's one for April, something about borrowing days, I can't remember. And then for May, a wet and windy May fills the barn with corn and hay. So if we have a wet and windy May, then you have a good harvest and a good summer. But that's just some of the ones that I can remember. If you have any that you know of yourselves, that's the old sayings, the old people sayings about how to tell what the weather's going to do, things like that, leave them in the comments down below. It is quite interesting, and something I've seen, it always tends to work out to be fairly true. So anyways, just wait for some slurry and we get going. This field done and we get moved into the big top field. But the biggest thing with this field here is just getting around them poles, but I think it shouldn't be too bad now. Shouldn't be too bad, just the way the pipe is. Once I get that loop of piping up past that pole, then I'll be able to go up and come back down the other side of it. If I can't, I'll be a bother. But anyways, so just, you can see the pipe there, just by the pole, so we should be good now to go to the other side of it. One of the things I was just thinking of when I was doing this, some people probably think, why not have a dribble bar that's the same size of the tram lines, or would that be something you'd be interested in? And we spread, our self-propelled sprayer is 24 meters. You imagine now, this field with the 3 poles that's in it, 24 meters. The hassle Father Phil has to spray this, it's spray, drive to the pole, fold it up, drive by it, fold it out, drive back, spray on. And he has to do that about 3 times in this field to get around the poles, because he can't maneuver around them. You have to go to them, fold and go around them. A nightmare. And a 24 meter dribble bar spreader would be every bit as awkward. So it's never something that we'll look into, because there's just, our field sizes aren't big enough to justify the size and expense of a machine, especially when most of the fields all have obstacles. There's very few fields without obstacles in them. The other thing I'm hoping now that these wide tyres won't do too much damage to the ground, won't damage the crop. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see just whether my tyres will do damage or not driving across. It shouldn't do any damage. I can't see why not. You cannot distinguish where the sprayer was earlier in the year, so I'm hoping that that's going to be the same for me, that you're not going to be able to see my tracks. So yeah, it's just time will tell, but as always with YouTube, you get to see what the result is and see whether it was a good decision or a bad decision to put out slurry. We keep at it. There is a nice thick crop there now. Not too bad at all. Rolling up the pipe here after finishing the field. What I'm hoping is I should be able to roll the pipe, not disconnect it, and then drag it back and up, hopefully. But it all depends on what the pipe goes like. I may not be able, I may be able. Me rolling up the pipe without opening a clip will build air pressure or slurry back in the pipe, and that should stop it from twisting, but may not. So I'm going to have to be careful. This was so seriously speeding me up, but it could also cost me a lot of time if it doesn't work. So I'm just going to have to watch it, but hopefully it goes to plan, because just to speed up the job so we can get on to the next bit of work after this. So it should work. Should work. Fingers crossed. Should work. So now this is the last field we have to do. We fire up the drone when we're here. Again, another nice crop of winter wheat. So just waiting for Father Phil to walk out to the gap of the field so he can keep an eye on the pipe coming behind me, because once I go into the field a bit, the brow of the hill I won't see across it. So yeah, it is a big triangular field going that way, so we'll be spreading it up and down that way, even though the longest runs are that way, but it's a triangle. It's short runs here, very long runs that end, and the far corner there's beech trees in the middle of the field that we'll have to work around. Shouldn't be too hard, but the field will be spread in two halves. So yeah, that's it. We'll just wait for Father Phil to get to the gap so he can see the pipe, because I can't really see the pipe. And we're trying to do the minimal amount of travelling on the crop, just in case.
Alright, I'm over here at the back of the road, coming out.
Okay, just in case my wheels be doing damage to the crop. Hopefully not. Anyways, we'll just drive on and we'll see what Father Phil says. Nice big field here, but just it's all very yellow itself. Hopefully this slurry will give it the kick it needs. And we are spreading. So I got my pipe down fairly good, so as I go back across the field that way, because of the way the field is, I should keep pulling more and more of it that way, so it should work out quite well. But my pressure has certainly dropped back from what it was below, and I think that's just because I'm gone way up now. I'm getting high up here compared to the farm, so I think that's what's going to affect the pressure a little bit. Just trying to keep it at around the 3,500 gallons.
Where you feel, yeah. Where you look, where you touch, where you feel, yeah. Yeah. Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about me and you? talk about me and you? Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about me and you? Will you know? Will you touch? Will you feel? Yeah. Will you know? Will you touch? Will you feel? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Will you know? Will you touch?
So just had the drone up, and I didn't think the dogs would, but when I was in the yard, the dogs took after the drone, and now they're up with me. Right after disappearing to. There. You can just see one of them there. That's Alfie. Now it's only Alfie and Fido are up here, not Bertie and Ellie. That's the other two dogs. But the apps, whatever it is about the drone, them pair of dogs just go to town to go after the drone. For whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's just the noise it makes. But anyways, that's that. So drone is up, and as you can probably tell, I don't have the auto steer engaged. Having some trouble getting connected to the base station, so I'm not using the auto steer, which you can see it. So it's tough going at the minute, just trying to keep it from overlapping and underlapping and all of that good stuff. And also at the minute, you seen the store's getting low, and just keeping the pressure up and keeping the droppers all working now as the store goes down is getting a little bit tougher. But anyways, we'll put down the camera and we'll get another bit spread. I have one more pipe to put down, but I still have another bit of spreading here with this pipe. I get another few runs. I won't get quite as far as the beech trees, which are just coming into view now, but I'd say I'm around the halfway mark here now. So you go a long way over before you get halfway, because the runs do get quite long this side of the field. Anyways, we keep spreading away. And now that's the next pipe down. We are on to the last piece of ground, about another half an hour spreading. So I'm just keep changing the macerator here. That's what I'm doing with the hand and the lever. Just try and keep it flowing nicely. Reason why are we doing this? Why have we never done it before? Well, fertilizer this year, as everybody knows, doesn't matter where you are in the world, it's mad, absolute madness. What could we do to bring down our fertilizer bill? Because we spread quite a lot of fertilizer, and I mean a lot of fertilizer between the tillage and the grassland. As extreme as we can go and put out basically no fertilizer if we can get away with it. We may have to put out a few ton on the tillage crops where we either can't get dung or can't get slurry to in time, or as top dressing depending on how the crop is doing. And we'll also may have to put out something on our silage ground, but if we can, we won't be, but we'll be putting out no fertilizer on the grazing ground, just slurry. Slurry this year is like gold. It's very, very valuable stuff. And another thing, everyone knows this time last year we got the Amazon spreader and we said we were going to buy it, but as it came to when the price of fertilizer started skyrocketing, talking to customers over the Christmas, paying up their bills and asking the one question, are you going to spread fertilizer? The vast majority of them said no. It just, we cancelled the Amazon spreader because we made the decision we weren't going to spread as little as possible, and from our customers they weren't going to be spreading that much, so just couldn't make it feasible in our own mind. What other things this story we're spreading at the minute, well, not what's been drew in, but what's in our store was treated with the NovaQ slurry additive, same stuff we used last year. Last year's a bit of a test and a bit of advertising. This year, after how well it went last year, we said yeah, we want to use it this year, put it in the store, treat the store from the start. That's what we've done. And one of the things, now, you know, I said it at the start, that what was in the store, what we were pumping into the store was like glue, very tacky stuff. But a couple of times there, Father Phil's run out of the pig slurry coming into the tank, and it's been more or less just our own stuff coming out, and it's pumped very, very well, surprisingly well for what was in the store. That's really it. So we'll finish up the spreading back in. I have a lot of videos on the books at the minute, so I'm actually quite comfortable for March. So whenever I go to put this video up, before it goes up, I'll film a bit just out in the crop. I will see how the colour has changed. Hopefully it'll have changed, and it won't have changed and it's gone a really bad yellow that have killed it. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, I'm going to keep spreading. About another half an hour I'll be finished, and we can get on to the next block of work. Here's going to be one heck of a year. I suppose in the comments down below, are you viewers watching, what's the price of fertiliser with you if you're outside of Ireland, so we can get an idea, and the price of agri-diesel or diesel in general, just so everyone gets an idea, especially the international viewers. It'd be very interesting to see. And are you spreading fertiliser or not for everyone? Are you going to spread some? You going to spread the same as last year? You're cutting it back? You're cutting it out altogether and going full organic? What is everyone's ideas or plans with fertiliser? Because it's definitely a big thing this year. But anyways, we'll keep spreading away, and we'll get this field wrapped up. So now it is a week and a day since we put out the slurry on our winter wheat. Now, as you can see there, that is the small field with all the poles in it. It actually looked a bit greener yesterday now, to be honest. Still is a little bit of that yellowish colour in it. But this is the first real day's rain since we put it out, so hopefully that bit of rain might help wash some of the nutrients into the ground. But it did after we put it out, it went like we'd often see grassland go after getting a good doing of slurry. It went that kind of browned it, and it has come back now. But one thing you can see is you can't really tell where travelled the ground, the wheel marks. So definitely the white wheels didn't do any harm to the crop, but it just hasn't turned colour yet. I would like to see it that starting to go that little bit greener, but that could just be how long it takes for the slurry to work into it. It's definitely not going to be as quick as putting out bag stuff. But yeah, so that's that field anyways. So we're out here in the quarry field, and it actually seems to have greened up a lot nicer compared to the field along the road. You can still actually see the lines of slurry there. But yeah, what more can I say? Definitely from after 8 days of being done, the wheel tracks haven't damaged the crop, which is perfect. I would like to see it that little bit starting to change colour. That field has, the field along the road hasn't. Don't ask me why. Top field is much the same as this field, just starting to change colour. So it is working into it. So there's not much more to say about that. But it is raining at the minute. I was hoping to put up the drone, but we'll just tip back into the shed, and I'll finish off the video on a bit of an update since we were spreading, and how the diesel and compulsory tillage and all these different things they're talking about at the minute may play out. So just to finish off this video, since we've spread the slurry and I spent a bit talking about price of diesel and fertiliser and all of that, things have escalated oh so much. The price of diesel, and when I started the video, was €1 something. Talking to a man today who was saying they're being quoted 180. That's 80 cents in 8 days. We're hearing 160. We're hearing about maximum orders of 500 litres. What's a maximum order? Is that maximum amount you'll get in a week? Like, if that's the case, just for the $64.99 is a 401 litre tank, and you'll burn that in 3 days harrowing, or 3.5 days harrowing. So 500 litres isn't going to do that tractor a week. Never mind any of the other tractors, any other work that has to go on. They have broke themselves here in Ireland, and they've cut some of the excise duty. So it's like a taxation that was on fuel. They brought petrol down 20 cents, diesel down 15 cents, but green diesel, the stuff we burn in agricultural vehicles, they brought it back 2 cents. The white diesel coming back, that 15 cent, you take the VAT off that. If you're registered for VAT, you get the VAT back on it. It damn near work out cheaper to be putting white diesel in machinery than green, which is absolute madness. So the whole point in green diesel is that it's cheaper than white diesel. Madness. One of the other hot topics as well that has been mentioned in the media over the last weekend, and a lot of people seem to be talking about, is the floated around this idea of compulsory tillage, everyone having to grow tillage, because here in Ireland we're heavily reliant on imported grain, milling wheat, corn, soya, barley, all of that. We're very reliant on it for feeding the cattle, and for milling wheat, for feeding people, creating bread. So they're floating around the idea now of compulsory tillage, which was something back in World War II. I can remember my grandfather talking about it, my uncle telling me about it. And a lot of lads are panicking and wondering, like, they're not equipped to grow tillage, how are they supposed to do it and all of that. And I've been thinking about, and one of the things I think to have, in my mind, compulsory tillage is the best option. Now, this is an opinion piece. I don't generally do opinion pieces because when you put your opinion out there, your opinion's never going to be right for everyone, and you always hear about the people who don't agree with you before you hear about the people who agree with you. Getting this wrong makes a balls of the situation, so I'm just going to put my 2 cents out there. But I think it should be compulsory, because if they say they're going to give €200 an acre for every acre of wheat that's grown, well, that's all that's going to do is push up rental prices on land, and it's not going to get the acres needed, because that's all that's going to do. I'm going to keep this short and sweet if I can. And by doing compulsory tillage, they should have 2 exemptions. Anyone on marginal land under a certain acreage, like if you only have 5 acres in your name or 10 acres, 5% of that isn't a whole lot, so it's not really worthwhile. Marginal ground, you can't expect a hill farmer to plough the side of a hill to put in corn, and you also can't expect farmers in derogation, which derogation is basically, layman's terms, is where they're highly stocked. Derogation for nitrates. You can't expect them to do it because it'd be very hard to destock enough in time to make the change. So most people think of compulsory tillage, they go, not to up, the experts have to be at it and that, but I think what they should do is, I think it's called sharecropping. I've heard about it in the UK and I think in America too. So the farmer provides the land, the government should provide the inputs, the fuel, the seed, fertiliser if they want to put it out, all of that stuff. And then a contractor or tillage farmer should do the work because they have the equipment and the knowledge to do it. With sharecropping, when the crop is harvested and sold, then the state gets their share and the farm owner gets their share, and the contractor tillage farmer has already been paid for all the work they've done. The benefits of this is the farmer doesn't have to worry about the input costs, doesn't have to worry about the risks, doesn't have to worry about having the knowledge or the equipment to do the work. And it takes basically all the pressure. The farmer just has to say, that's my 5 acres, 10 acres, whatever, of suitable land, work away. For the government, rather than the government saying we're going to put 5-10 million to do whatever with, the government would end up putting in maybe 50 million, 100 million, I don't know, a lot more money. But when the crop is sold, they reclaim X amount of it, probably quite a lot of it. And then it still only works out that they're 5 or 10 or whatever many million that they'll be given out anyways. That's what all they're out. It'd be a bit like a loan system, really. And then that basically puts all the risk is on the government. They want it done. They have to take the risk. It shouldn't be on us farmers to take the risk on crops, because crops are finicky. You probably heard me talk lots of times, but we lost a lot of money in 2016. Just the bad weather. The contractor tillage farmer needs to be paid by the government as the work is done, because to be able to carry, like just say for our own instance, we have the tractors and equipment, we could cover a lot more ground than what we have ourselves to grow, but we don't have the staff. And if you were told that you weren't going to get paid till single farm payment or the end of the year, you're not going to be able to afford to have the money to afford to pay the staff, never mind all the other inputs, to be able to do all that extra work. So that's one point. I also think that they should have Startup grants available for anyone who wants to make a change. So if you're going to commit 25% or 50% or 95% of your land, that there should be a Startup grant to help lads get equipment to do the work themselves. I also think that land that's already in tillage should be exempt from any kind of a scheme that comes up. And I also think that they should, if there's any import duties or VATs or anything that's on inputs, seeds, sprays, fertilisers, all that should be got rid of to try and keep the inputs down. And I think that wouldn't be that bad a plan. Now there is all the issues with where are you going to get the diesel to do it? What about the fertilisers? There's a whole lot more stuff that could be covered in that. If you want me to go on a deep dive, in my opinion, on the whole compulsory tillage end of it, please let me know. I'm trying to keep this short and sweet. But one thing that I'm pretty sure we can be guaranteed here in Ireland is whatever the government decide to do, they basically have to the end of March to get something in place to give people certainty to plant in April, and I can't see them having it done. So in the heel of the hunt, whatever they come agreements or decisions they come to is going to be probably most likely inadequate and too late to be of any use to anyone. So that's my 2 cents on the situation. But anyways, we're going to leave it at that for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. We may have to yet pull out this old vintage combine behind me if we do go compulsory tillage. There's actually 2 there to have enough combines in the county to get the work done. But who knows? Anyways, we're going to leave it at that for today's video. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. That's it for me. Good luck.